Welcome to this episode of Your Business in HD. I am your host, Jen Dice, marketing strategist and human design coach for entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to talk about this topic that I've had on my heart to kind of bring to you guys, talk to you guys about. And it's the next right step for you in business for your goals, because we all kind of struggle with that. And the reason this kind of came up for me and is a present mind for me, and I've been meaning to really get on and chat with you guys about this topic, is we all are working on our next right things. We all have the goals that we want to achieve. We all have the income that we want to achieve. We all have like that next level that we can see and how that's going to impact our lives and how that's going to change things for us. We all can see that. Many of us can see that bigger vision, or we can see the bigger picture down the road a little bit. But what is that next right step for you to get there? And this is something that it came up again. I think I've posted about this on social media. I've had just some things like, on social media where memories pop up in your feed and it takes you back. It takes you back a year ago. It takes you back months ago. It just kind of brings these reminders of 1 year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And when you start to look at that, let me know, do you recognize the person sometimes in that photo? Because I have had a couple come up from 2 years ago and I don't recognize her. I am not the same version of who I was back then. I have shifted, I have evolved, I have grown, all for the better, no matter what, we all go through over the course of months or years to get to where we are today. So the biggest thing was I had a memory pop up. And I had posted about this before, but this wasn't too long ago. It was pretty recent. It was probably maybe about a month ago. I had just some pictures and photos pop up of a conference that I went to in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. And the business conference, the business event, was actually at Disney World. And it was when I signed up for that and bought a ticket for that event, it was one of those things where I never probably would have gone to Disney. We never would have packed up our family and gone to Disney. As for one, because my mindset was just we can't do that. That's a big, expensive trip. But I bought the ticket to the event, and I knew if I bought the ticket to the event that we were going. And that year was that first year of making things happen, taking the actions to get to that event in the first place. And looking back, this was a year ago at that event, I was honestly running a completely different business. This was just over a year ago. And I was at that point of, I think I need to actually take the next steps to change and to shift, because I had been feeling it at this point for probably 4 to 6 months that I was not in the right business. I had a Pinterest marketing company that I had grown. I had booked out with clients, and it had served the goal and hit the goal of me being home with my kids and replacing replacing my part-time salary as a physical therapist and when I was working, and then the pandemic hit and that just screwed everything up. So that changed a whole lot for the direction. And so that business, it served its purpose. But then I hit that point of, what's next? This can't be it. And so I had wrestled with that for several months prior to going to this event. And I went to this event, and looking back where I'm at today, 1 year ago, when I reflect back a year ago on the decision that was made in that moment of, it is time to take action. It is time to take that next right step for me towards where I want to be. I could not have foreseen or predicted or told you 1 year ago what I would be doing today, what I would have been doing this morning, that I would be speaking to all here on this podcast, on this episode of this show. This was not in my brain a year ago. And I just knew in my gut that it was just that moment, that time to just take that next right step, that next right action. And I think one of the things we can get stuck on is trying to have that vision mapped out. We see the vision, we see the bigger picture ahead of us, but trying to have it mapped out and trying to see every single step that's going to get us there. And quite honestly, sometimes you just know whether it's in your heart, whether it's in you're trusting your intuition, whether you're trusting your gut to get there, that this is the path for me. And the biggest thing taking that step on that new path is just, this is just what I have to do today. Because honestly, if I'm looking back a year ago or just over a year ago when I was running that Pinterest marketing company and I had those clients and I was doing the done for you work and I was in it, and I was facing that point of, okay, the next logical step is you have to scale. You have to hire subcontractors. I started working on my SOPs. I started figuring out, well, how am I going to do an interview process? And everything inside of me was like, this is not the next right step. This is not right. And in the background, I had been doing some of the human design work for myself, and that's ultimately what helped me decide and just kind of plant the seed that that my path was going to be different than what everybody was telling me I should be doing. But when you're looking ahead at your business and where you want to be, and if you're at that point of like shifting and changing or pivoting, or maybe it's not an entire business model, maybe it's just one small thing within that business, maybe it's one offer, maybe it's one client. And it's just a matter of figuring out how you can trust yourself enough with what you have in front of you, because you're not always going to be able to see what is actually going to be happening for you 12 months down the road. Because I think if you had told myself 1 year ago when I was at that business event, when I was sitting in that seat at that conference, when I was listening to those speakers, had you told her, that version of me, what she'd be doing today, she'd flip the fuck out, honestly. She would like lose her shit. She would not, and I would not have taken the first step. So sometimes you don't have to see the entire picture of what you're actually here to do and what you're actually going to be doing 12 months from now, because it's just so powerful. And it's something that if you knew those things, you might not take the right actions today. So that's kind of the backstory of what I'm talking about with this whole concept of the next right step for you in your business, and how to kind of bring that in and how to kind of leverage that. So if you guys are new to listening to this show, I just want to welcome you again, and just let you know, my name is Jen. I'm a human design coach and marketing strategist for entrepreneurs. And one of the passions that I have is really helping you as that entrepreneur get crystal clear on your unique strengths, talents, and gifts, so you can infuse that magic into your business and into your marketing and create that hell yes life that we all dream of through your business. So taking that next right step for you, a couple of things I want you guys to walk away with. And these are some things that helped me in this process, because we all are always going to be shifting. We're always going to be evolving. We're always going to be changing how we're doing things, how we're looking at things. And the first thing I want you guys to do, the first thing is always reflect back. Reflecting back, and like if you're trying to make a decision for what that next right path is for you, what the next right step is for you, whether it's, do I launch this thing? Do I, put this offer out there? Do I, re-sign this client? Or do I add this completely new thing, this new portion to my business? So I pivot a little bit and just become something a little bit different than what I've been doing. The biggest tip I have is for you to look back at where you were maybe a year ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, and see in that reflection, you're going to gain some like inner nuggets of wisdom of what worked for you, what didn't work for you, where you trusted yourself in making other decisions in your business for yourself and how that worked out. Where you ignored your gut, ignored your intuition, and how that worked out. So that reflection is huge when you're looking at making a decision for just that next right step for you in your business. So looking back, and then also looking forward to the future as well. So if you look at the past, even if it was yesterday, even if it was this morning or last week or last month, and you're looking ahead at what your goals are this month, what your goals are to finish out this quarter or for next quarter, and how can you take what you've already kind of learned, some of that wisdom that you've already learned in this last month or day or week or whatever, and apply that to what you're looking at creating in the upcoming weeks or upcoming months for you in your business. The second thing I want you guys to kind of look at is taking an inventory of your present moment. Because you can look back, and when you reflect back like a year ago, you can see the progress. You can see that big difference of I am not the same person I was 1 year ago, or I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. But it's harder to see that a month ago, last week, yesterday. These things happen very, very incrementally. So when you are looking at just the present moment, this is where I love to for me, I love to journal, and I love to just kind of share what's on my mind on any given day. But I also like to take a moment and write out how are things working out for me in this moment today. I look at my goals for the month or for the week, or just the bigger vision that I have on my vision board. And what are the small things that are showing up for you today? Because those teeny little things, and I think I was talking to somebody on Instagram too, just because her and I, we also we jive very well, and we have very much the similar ways we approach our morning routines and stuff like that. And we were just kind of chit-chatting back and forth and saying how, just writing out the small things. It could be a gratitude list. Some people do it that way. I look at it as a proof that life is happening for me. So, and it could be as small as I had a conversation with my 12-year-old at the bus stop. Because in about a year or two, those might not happen as much as I'd like them to, because she's in middle school. She might change, she just might not want to talk to me as openly. So something like that is an example of things are showing up for me in the present moment. I just had an amazing little note in my DMs from somebody that I've been connecting with for a while, and that just kind of made me feel it kind of uplifted me a little bit. That's another example. These are all little things of how the universe and how things are actually coming to fruition for you in the present moment. So when you take, even just in a week, if you write down a few things every day and then go back, I promise you, if you do this Monday through Sunday, and then you sit down on that next Monday and you look back at 7 days and you just write down three the smallest things, your heart is going to say, holy shit, there's a ton of stuff that is happening for me in the present. And it just helps you kind of shift what you're how you're focusing things and how you're approaching things. And then the third thing, this action step, what can I do today? What is one action step I can do today? And if you are familiar with human design and you really you understand a little bit of your human design, you understand how you're designed to make decisions, and your authority, that's the piece of human design that you can tune into yourself and start to work on trusting yourself for that next one decision, the smallest decision. Hit the button to go live on Instagram and share your story. Launch something, put the social media post out there that shares your story a little bit, or reach out to somebody that you haven't connected with in a while. One small action. It doesn't have to be this big thing, but if you kind of get that momentum in your mind of taking the next right step, and it could be bigger than that, but it doesn't have to be. We don't have to put all this pressure on making sure that we're doing these giant activities every single day to grow our business and hustle and DM 5 bajillion people in a week to hit a sales quota or whatever. It's so much more than that. It's about really looking at what is actually happening for you in the present moment, and then taking stock of what you've learned from reflecting backwards, what your goals are going forward, what's happening in your present moment, and what's that one action step you can take today that's going to help you get closer to that goal. Because you can have things figured out, sort of, but you're always going to be guided. And if you tune in, so from that human design perspective, looking at your human design authority, understanding your human design type as that generator, that manifesting generator, that projector, that reflector, or that manifester, understanding that type, and then understanding your authority and how you are uniquely designed to make decisions from within, not up here and what the next logical step was. Because remember, when I was facing that and I was trying to write freaking SOPs and develop a hiring process for an agency that I didn't want to build, I hit all of this resistance. So I eventually got to the point where I didn't ignore that, because that was my body telling me, that was my inner wisdom telling me that is no longer the right path for you. There is something else out there for you. We just got to shift it a little bit, and we just got to take this, just do this one thing, just take this next right step, and you'll get to where you're meant to be. So that is my tip for you guys today is, number one, when it comes to if you're facing decisions in your business, if you're looking at whether it's hiring, whether it's creating a new offer, whether it's launching, running ads, pivoting in your business, anything that is coming up, hitting your income goals, building a funnel, I don't know, whatever, creating content, anything. The next right step for you in business for your goals is number one, look back. So biggest takeaway is reflect back and then reflect forward. So you're looking back and then you're looking ahead at the goals that you set, because you're going to get some wisdom. You're going to learn from what you've experienced from the past. And then you're going to look forward towards the future and see if what you've got set is in alignment with where you want to go. And then look at the present, what is already happening. The second thing is what is already happening for you in the present moment. And how can you celebrate that? Because that's another thing we don't do very often as entrepreneurs. And the third thing is, what is one action step you can take away? And if you have more information on your human design and you know your authority a little bit better, you know your human design type, I encourage you to tune into that to help you make that decision for that next right step, that next action step in your business. And if you are completely new to human design, there is a link that comes with these show notes, and you can get a free resource that will help you get started and help you pull your human design chart and start to read a little bit on this human design type and your human design authority. So I will link that in the show notes as well for you to get started. But my biggest encouragement is, if you're looking at making a decision, any decision, big or small, is to trust yourself, tune into yourself, trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust what your heart desires, trust that authority as your aligned compass that's always guiding you and course correcting you towards your true north, not the true north or not the goals that everybody around you has, but your own compass, your true north of where you're supposed to be and the work that you're supposed to be doing. And trusting that with even the smallest thing is going to lead to these bigger leaps for you going forward. So I hope that was helpful. That is all I have for you guys today on this little chit chat on the next right steps for you in business for your goals. But as always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I love chatting with you guys. So I will catch you next time on the next episode of Your Business in HD, and we'll talk soon.